I think we should probably circle back to expenses. So, back to your $40,000 a month income. So you said that you spend a lot of it on flying, but you didn't disclose that in your video.
No,
by the way, I don't know if we're talking about like, because you're talking about becoming a pilot, like flying, or if we're talking about traveling flying.
No, hello everybody. I have been a recreational pilot for a long time. You can't actually take your solo test until you're 17. I believe with parental consent, but I've been dabbling in it for many years. The thing is, I already had money set aside for that. So none of it came from YouTube until like just recently, just to pay for some new hours I've been doing. But it hasn't been coming out of my recent YouTube money. I put aside $10,000 many years ago. A pilot's license for personal use is about $14,000. I'm paying $8,800 for mine. I already paid up front. I just have to pay for airplane rental, which is like $147 an hour. And some fees for the FAA to make sure I'm not.
Wait, what airplane is $100-something an hour?
Oh, a Cessna 172, a really old one. And that's a lower rate because the school owns the plane. So it's kind of complicated, but it doesn't belong to the school. Someone like you just bought a Cessna and they're renting it out to the school.
But it's scary to drive to fly an old plane.
I actually trust them more because we already know the problems with it. Similar to avionics, like you, I would feel safer. I mean, I'd feel a lot more comfortable in the Gulfstream. If you have a Gulfstream, find me around. But a Cessna, I know what's wrong with it. And there are notes that were given in a plane. Like, okay, this one has a problem with the aileron. Well, that would be a really bad problem. You don't want to do that. But these things are worked on constantly, so no.
Is the $147 an hour, does that include gas? Or is that just like...
I don't pay for fuel, actually. The flight school covers that. Unless it's like in the cost.
So $147 an hour, and then how many hours would you say you do this per session?
I spend more time on the ground training, but I would do, lately it's been only 3 hours a week flying, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're in the air for 3 hours, like one whole hour above Florida, doing stalls, which is when there's a power on stall or a power off stall. We're basically practicing all the worst maneuvers that can possibly happen to a plane, recovering from that, because the pilot that flew me over here, for example, from Florida, has to know what to do if the engine goes out. So that's why the expensive cost is there. It's just renting the plane.
If you stall the plane, there's someone else there. If you don't know what to do, that they'll take over for you, right?
Sometimes, yes.
What do you mean sometimes?
So we are doing solo soon. So the path to getting a personal license is you first are doing ground school where you're learning the aerodynamics of the plane, the forces of it, why it flies, how it actually flies, which is the part that's so exciting to me.
How does a plane even fly?
Here we go.
Don't get it. It's metal and it's in the sky. Don't understand.
You're getting thrust. And then because the way the wings are situated, it's naturally going to lift off.
But it's a tiny little thing.
Have you ever listen when your parents are like drive on the freeway and you stick your hand out as a kid and you do this and your hand goes.
Give me your hand. This.
Yeah.
So this is the wing, right? This is
you
technically
get the little thing.
It's called an airfoil. An airfoil is any shape that generates lift, basically.
Yeah.
So there's wind coming here. Okay. High pressure moves faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when you're flying forward, the wings are generating drag here, lift, and there's weight. So when the four forces are combined, and there might be flaps, which never are there on takeoff, but it's hard to explain.
Yeah,
but
the wind is going to push up against the wing and lift up the plane.
I'm just surprised those propellers can spin fast enough.
Oh, they're very fast.
I guess that's what
I can take you in my plane. It's very fast. It's faster than you think.
Huh.
But I'm only allowed to fly one plane. But yes, so I have an instructor. We're currently in stall training, which it makes me so uncomfortable because people die sometimes doing it. But I love it. If I'm going to die anyway, I have to. When I die, I want to be in a plane.
You do?
Yeah.
How so?
What?
Like in a crash?
Wait.
I don't want to die in a plane. I just mean, if I do die, when I die, I hope it's doing something that I love.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't you want to die like 90 or 100 years old, just peacefully
so tired of
surrounded by family?
That's how Graham wants to die.
I don't know.
Like in your sleep.
75 is good for me.
I don't know. That sounds terrible.
What if you're like really able at 75? Like you're able to like run around and be all crazy.
You're young at 75 now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of good. I feel that my heart is so full. I'm so happy with all my hobbies. I'm just really excited to just live in the moment, and I just want to do what I love forever.
See, but I love reef aquariums. I wouldn't want to die in one. I'd rather
Well,
that just be a thing.
Well,
you know?
probably not die in one, but maybe die like admiring one.
Yeah.
Or like fixing one.
Kind of, I'm just saying I'm not scared of it.
I
was.
don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
It's
That's
a
a little morbid. So how much have you spent on that?
8,800 exactly.
It's not bad.
No, and then here's where it gets expensive. So if I just stop there, totally fine. I can just buy a little plane. They range. Their cost is very vast. An old Cessna, the little planes that you see. I'll insert a picture for you, Alex. I'll put one mine. They can be as cheap as 100,000, or they can go up to like 600,000. If they're new, obviously they're more expensive. But then you have to pay for the hangar, a mechanic, maybe an avionics person. So that's why most people just rent a plane.
Yeah.
If I want to be a commercial pilot, that's what I'm kind of grappling with now. This is why I didn't mention this in the video. If I want to go and become, let's say, a Delta Airlines pilot, I'm going to have to invest at least $100,000 to earn. Get this, starting salaries, maybe not for Delta, but in general, are around $29,000.
Wow.
No.
I always
Fact check it. Fact check
seriously. Yeah. Commercial pilots they make not enough money, I feel like, for the safety of hundreds of people on an airplane.
There's many reasons for it.
So why does the school cost so much? Why do they make so little? Because that would assume now there are a surplus of pilots who all want to fly planes.
No one. Well, it's a mixture of different reasons. There's a huge dearth of pilots because most people drop out. Their washout rate of flight school, just not even just military, I just mean like regular what I'm doing, is very high because it's a lot of studying. It's more than what people realize. And I had so many moments. That's why I've been doing it forever. I just never continued. And it's very expensive. People don't realize how expensive it is once you get past the PPL. Instrument rating is another $7,000 or so. Commercial license is about $40,000 or more because you not only have to rent the plane, you have to accumulate, I should know the amount of hours off the top of my head. Let's say 250 hours of flying. Do that by the amount of hours to rent the plane. It's a whole investment. It's a very rich old man's activity. And airlines just don't pay well. I forgot the exact reason for it.
I heard that if you're a commercial pilot, like you can make six figures pretty easily.
So I know someone actually lives in my building. He's a 747 pilot. I forgot which airline. He told me, stay in there, kiddo, because it's going to be worth it. He first did, they're called, I know the name of it, the people who fly across the beach with banners. He did that for like $30 an hour. Then he got hired at SkyWest Airlines.
$30 an hour?
For those banners. In Florida, they usually say really bad things.
Well, I mean,
I want to tell them I can't.
I could see that being like kind of fun to be like
I
on
would
a
do that.
Saturday afternoon, go and fly around the beach.
Iced coffee hour.
Yeah,
You get paid
Public.
for it. That's good.
Yeah.
I could fly your coffee.
But still 30 an hour. I would assume 100 an hour.
Yeah. So commuter planes, you can just look this up online, Alex, too. You can see this. It's awful. They start out 29,000, but that's a gross amount. That's not after taxes. That's not after the hotel stays. I mean, the airline pays for it, but this guy started off really bad. Then he got hired at American and got 50,000 as not a captain, but a first officer, which is the person who's on the other seat. They still do all the flying too. It's not like one or the other necessarily, but as a captain now for an international airline, he earns $300,000. So it's a very slow build to becoming a captain. So that's the thing that most people just drop out about.
I see. So it's a lot of money to get it. Mm-hmm. Low pay, but over the long term, you could make a lot of money.
Yeah. And you're away from your family. This guy's single. It's just, it's someone like me. It's meant for me. Like, I just know. So that's why I said I didn't mention it in the video because I was like, he's going to get mad at me. I most likely want to be an airline pilot. It's just the only thing I've ever dreamed of. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to make YouTube videos for
I do. I can do both. I can do both.
But why? Listen, but why not just make YouTube videos and travel? Like, just why do you need to fly the plane?
Because I am dead inside, just making videos in my townhouse, waking up every day, having to please everybody and also please the algorithm and also figure out, what am I going to do this week? It's not healthy for me personally to be surrounded by just social media. I have to have something else going on. Even just taking my golf lessons, which I'm so bad at, it just makes my day, and then I'm more motivated to actually make videos. And do you know how cool it would be to have a woman making videos online about, there was actually a couple people, day in life as an airline pilot. That is like binge-worthy content. It's not relatable being like, here's my matcha tea, guys. Oh, today I'm gonna go to the gym and oh, Howie and I we're like on the rocks.
Howie.
This is like a typical influencer boyfriend
Okay.
name. I don't know. I want something more from life.
Why not? But why not just? You could do that as a hobby. Like
Yeah.
get a cool airplane, fly it around on weekends. You really want to do a career, starting out at the 29,000,
But I
working your
make-
way up.
Like 60,000 a month with YouTube. In addition to that, they don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Wouldn't that be very difficult to do both at the same time?
I
And,
don't put in that much
want you
work.
to do social media. I've seen quite a few people fired from their jobs for mixing the two because they make YouTube videos.
It would depend where you work, I guess, but there are so many airline social media people now. There's someone named like 74 Pilot. I talked to someone, what's his name? He's really well known. There's a lot of people now. It's becoming normal, and actually airlines kind of like it. Like I purposely tried to fly American to meet this one kid. I forgot his name. But anyway, he's a really young guy, and he became a pilot. Same thing as me. He just put in a lot of money into flying and didn't come from a whole lot. It's his passion. And like, when you're like me, you just understand. I have a passion for serving others. So for me, if YouTube were to just start paying me only $3,000 a month, I would be totally fine. I have such a passion for just helping other people, but not enough to be a nurse. I don't like blood.
But you want to make a YOLO bet too. Do you know what type of YOLO bet? And then we'll get back to your question, Jack.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
When I say airline pilot, I don't mean the next 2 years. I mean like a 7-year plan.
Got it.
I just plan to fly in the meantime, make as much money as I can, of course, from YouTube and create other streams of income as well.